morning. We're here at the Alice Hall Library, and we have open house today. It's a comparison of the first library in the town of Salem, which is where we are right now, the Alice Hall Library, which was opened up basically around 1894. Formerly was a schoolhouse. And the schoolhouse itself was built in 1865 or thereabouts. It was used as a school until 1894 and then became a library. Before we had this building as a library, there was a library of sorts. They had a collection of books that was kept in the town hall, which is the building next door. And they got more and more books and they needed a place to put them, and they got this building. They converted it from the schoolhouse to the library, and then we're enjoying this today, even now. So welcome to our library.
Good morning, Salem. My name is Alice Lillian Hall, and I was the head librarian here at the Salem Public Library from 1924 to 1966. So that was a lot of years. There's so much history here at what we now call the Alice Hall Library. So I'd be glad to tell you a little bit about myself and to tell you about this library here. So I was not born in Salem. I actually was born in Springfield, Mass. in 1895. I was the middle child there were 3 daughters. Sadly, my mother died when I was 5 years old. And because my father was born in Salem, I moved to Salem and ended up living with my Uncle John and my Aunt Emma over on Lawrence Road.
My name is Edie Beatty.
And I'm Louise. My maiden name was Cress, and my last name is Buffum. I knew Alice Hall because she also went to the same church I did, which is the First Congregational Church on Lawrence Road. So I was more familiar with her there. And she lived right across the street from my friend, and she used to go in there all the time.
I went through the Salem schools. I attended Methuen High School. And I always loved to read, and I loved to be active. And when I was pretty young, I was part of the Campfire Girls, and I even became a Campfire Girl leader. So when I was in my 20s, just early 20s, I loved our library that we had here in Salem. It had opened in 1895, and I loved to come over to the library. It was only open on Saturdays, but believe it or not, in 1917, that was when I first started to work here, I came in as an assistant librarian, helping Mrs. Clough sign out the books, because at that time we were writing down the names of people and the number of book that person was had taken. We were very restrictive in those olden days. Initially, the librarians had to even go get the books. And it wasn't until much later that we allowed people to go onto the shelves and take books out. Now, people ask me, what was it like when you first came to the library? Well, it was very cold. We had one pipe that ran across the library that heated the whole area. And you know what happened to me is, because I was the new person here back in, I think it was 1917, 1918, I was the person in charge of going into the basement and getting the wood for the wood stove. I did not like that job at all. It was very spooky in the basement, but you know, I was the person that had to do that job. Now, in 1924, I was asked to become the head librarian. and I knew I wanted some changes. And fortunately, the trustees were listening to me because I wanted to increase the number of books. I wanted to make sure that children would be able to take some books out. So I actually implemented a program where the children would get their library cards. The parents were responsible, but we had the kiddos coming in and taking books out. We had a wonderful story hour on Saturday mornings. And as the time went on, we started to open on Wednesdays. And then all of a sudden, circulation just skyrocketed. It almost doubled. And as the years went on, we opened 4 days a week.
Well, we used to come down here after school to do our homework, and we weren't allowed to talk. Miss Hall would always be like, shh, gotta be quiet, and she was very strict. You could hear a pin drop in here. But all the kids came and they respected her.
Not too long ago, was looking through some old diaries that I had, and I couldn't believe how many times in my diary it said, Edie and I went to the library, Carol and I went to the library, Edie, Carol, Barbara, and I went to the library. So we really used to come in here a lot.
Yeah.
I definitely remember coming, taking books out, and then bringing them back, and we had to pay if you were late, but we were never late because we came in all the time.
I just found my library card from years ago. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. But I used to be her paper girl. I used to deliver the Tribune to her,
On
She
Lawrence
didn't really
Road.
tip me good, but
On Lawrence Road?
Yeah, on Lawrence Road.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Micklin, and I am a old-time Salemite. This was my library when I was growing up, and Alice Hall, who I love dearly, was our librarian, and she was wonderful. I was in grade school, and we would come here like once a week or twice a month, depending on schedules. And she was so wonderful with the children. She was really good. And we had we were pen pals with a ship's captain. And she thought it was so wonderful that we were learning to write letters. And at the end of the school year, he sent us a big model of his ship that he had made. And when the school year was over, we donated it here to the little library. It was a little library, but she could get us anything we wanted. She worked very hard with the teachers in Salem. And when we thought of the library, we always thought of Alice Hall. In fact, I think most of us thought she lived here. We were kids and we could imagine her anywhere else but the library. She was exactly what you thought a librarian would be. Alice Hall was just the quintessential librarian. I mean, she knew if there was a book you wanted and she didn't have it, she'd say, I'll get it for you. She was always there to help. She had the patience of Job. She was so good with all the kids. And, everything wasn't computerized then. We had to look up in the card catalog for the books that we wanted. And she would write down by hand what book you were taking out. And she would also let you know if you were late. And I would think it was like a nickel a day if you were late. You had to pay if you didn't return your books on time. So, she was a cornerstone of Salem's history, and I'm glad she's being remembered.
As the years went on, many improvements were made. The telephone came in the 1950s. And finally, in 1966, the library closed because the beautiful new Kelly Library was built. I felt honored and privileged to be able to be a part-time librarian over at the Kelly Library. And I did that until 1972. So I'm hoping that people will come and visit our beautiful museum, our Alice Hall Library. I was honored that the library was named after me. It happened when I passed in 1988.
When I was in high school many years ago, I volunteered at the Historical Society, and I was a Boy Scout. And for my Eagle Scout project, that coincided right with the time that this building was starting to be renovated. It had sort of been just empty for many years, and the Historical Society wanted to convert it into a historical library. And so for my Eagle Scout project, I was able to raise some money with my troop, and we painted the whole inside. So the walls interior were painted, and the two signs that are on the outside, on the front side and the side, were I made for as part of the Eagle Scout project. So it's kind of fun to come back and see that it's still here and everything that's changed since then. So, yeah. That would have been in 1997.
And looking at our library here, if we look at the Salem Public Library, we're a tiny library. And actually, because we're small, and we don't have the number of books that the Kelly Library has, we actually get to know the people that come into the library very well. Now, I understand they also do at the Kelly Library. They know the people that come in to borrow books. But we really knew about the families, each and every family that came into our library back in those olden days. In fact, I have a cute little story I have to tell you. The recollections are coming back now. You know, it's been so many years. But I remember way back, I was just an assistant. And there was this very nice gentleman that came to the library. He was a little bit crusty, but he was a very nice man. And he had not returned his books on time. So we had to charge him a fine. And the fine was 6 cents. Well, he was furious. And he began to really intimidate me. And I was shaking. And I remember this very sweet little girl that saw how upset I was getting. And she ran across the street to Ewan's Market. And she came back with the biggest ice cream cone I had ever seen. And I will never forget that little girl. We are really excited here in Salem. I understand that we're celebrating the 275th anniversary of when our town became incorporated. There is so much history in Salem. So I'm hoping that the folks in Salem will come visit the Historical Society Museum. They'll visit the Alice Hall Library. They'll go over to Schoolhouse number 5, our one-room schoolhouse, and also visit our fantastic Hose House 2. And at the same time, go over to the Kelly Library, where you can even learn more about the history of Salem.
I'm Natalie Ducharme. I'm the director at Kelly Library. I became director in 2020, but I actually started working in the library in 1980 as a part-time library page, and a page is someone who shelves books. Then I went off to college, and I came back to town. In 1985, I became a full-time staff member, and I've stayed ever since. I guess, well, I mean, it's consistent through the times. I don't know if it's better, but people's curiosity, people's thirst to know more, learn more, discover more about the world around them or faraway places, and they're always looking to expand their knowledge. So that's been true for hundreds of years. So I like that that's been consistent. Oh, there's a world of difference. You had to have your library card, which was this card right now. And if you didn't have your card, you couldn't borrow anything. These cards are our new library cards for adult and kids. And if you notice, they have barcodes because now we use computers and scanners, and we scan all the books. And everything, we have an online library. People can use the Kelly Library from home, use our digital services and our streaming services, all with a barcode. The books in the olden days used to get embossed with a label. It's right on this page. You can't really see it, but you can feel it. It makes it 3D. So this is how they used to say that these were library books. It says Salem, New Hampshire Public Library. So that's how they knew it was our book. And because it was embossed, you couldn't erase it. You couldn't rip it out. It was definitely the library's book, and there was no denying that. Or if it got lost, people would know where to send it back. Nowadays, we have stamps and barcodes. What we have here is called the card catalog. Nowadays at the Kelly Library, we have a computer catalog that people can access from home or in the library or on the phone or wherever they are. But when I first started at Kelly Library, we weren't computerized. So what we had are these little cards that people could look up books. They would be a title card, an author card, and a subject card. So every book had a minimum of 3 cards, and it might have 5 or 6 cards. You can see it. We all had to take turns interfiling cards for an hour a week so that people could keep up with what we had and they could access it. So there's all different subject terms: medical ethics, medicine and art, medicine popular, medicine trends, meditation. And then in between these, you'll see an author card or a title card. And that's how people used to hunt for things pre-computer days. When we did away with the card catalog, it was sometime in the 1990s when we got our first computer system. But pre-computers and pre-computer catalog, we had to use these little index cards. Now, some of the activities we have nowadays is we encourage people to stay for a while. Come to the library, do a jigsaw puzzle. Come to the library with your kids and do a scavenger hunt. I've brought scavenger hunts that we use at the library, the same format, and I've tucked pictures around the room of the Alice Hall Library and Kelly Library so people can see the differences of the book carts and the activities that we have. We also have activity sheets we also have in our children's room. These are unscrambled word games, which is something we have in our children's room. We periodically have bookmarks that kids can color and make their own bookmarks. So we try to have a lot of activities so kids can read for a bit, play for a bit, read for a bit, play for a bit, and have a relaxing time and enjoy the public library. I also created some questions in case kids are too shy to ask if they come in today. So some of the questions: what year did you start working in the library? How many years you were a librarian? Things like that, so kids might get tongue-tied a bit in a strange environment with strange people, so they can ask us questions, and they can ask the question to Alice Hall, what it was like then, and they could ask me and see the difference when they ask the question. We're in full gear planning our summer reading program, which is a very busy time of year for us. We'll have 7 weeks of events and games and reading, and you name it, there'll be all kinds of events. Kelly Library is also part of the Intergenerational Collaborative of Salem, which has several nonprofits involved in it, and we're doing a Fiesta of Fun at the Kelly Library, and that'll be happening on May 31st. For, again, anyone ages 6 to 100, we're going to have Legos, we're going to have jigsaw puzzles, we're going to have Chris Rose, who's a teacher in Salem, reading to the kids. So we're hoping it's a fun Saturday morning event. They can call us, they can email us, they can just drop in, 603-898-7064.
I'm Abigail.
And I'm Jacob.
Some Salem historical people came to my school, and then I told my family about it. We both go to North
Salem Elementary.
It's so cool. I love learning about history.
Me too. I love it, and I think everything here is so awesome.
Hi, I'm Susan Mothon. I help out with the research at the Salem Historical Society. We have a wonderful Alice Hall exhibit toward the back of our library. We have some pictures of Alice. We also have some letters, some correspondence. Alice was a wonderful writer, so we have tons and tons of letters and actually some memories that Alice had written that we were able to hold on to. Here is an appreciation that Alice received from the First Congregational Church here, and that, let's see, the date was 1982 in honor of 50 years with the church. Little knickknacks that Alice had in her home. Her pocketbook. Now, this was a treasure. I actually, when I found the pocketbook and opened it up, I found coins. I found a grocery list in here, which was really interesting. And coins up. I found a comb and a brush with some of Alice's hair in her pocketbook. In the pocketbook, in Alice's pocketbook, we found her wallet. And again, there were some coins in it and some pictures. There's a picture of Alice with her senior citizens card and her home. Picture of her home. She was a National Trust member. She was part of the travel club. So we have her membership card for that. Oh, there are loads of pictures in here. And actually inside, whoops, the coins are still in here. We found her hair clips. And that was always kind of, again, fun to find. And her hairbrush. Right here. A library card that someone donated here from the Salem Public Library. We have a couple of cards. From the senior citizens, her name, and the library card from the Kelly Library. And I love this right here. This is her muff. Can you remember? Many, many years ago on those cold days, put both of your hands in the muff, and this was Alice's.
This is a wind-up record player. This particular record player belonged to Alice Hall. It was here in the library when we took it over. So it's authentic. It belongs to the library.
Come to the library, the Alice Hall Library, and you can take a look through Alice's things, because I'm sure she would like to share them with you. She actually wanted her home to become a museum. So the Salem Historical Society is really pleased that we were able to get a lot of these items. We have to give a very special shout out and thank you to the Salem Area Women's Club. We have a number of ladies from the club that have come to help us. They've helped us with parking, and they've helped with mingling with our visitors today.
Hi, my name is Veronica Shelley. I live in Hampstead, New Hampshire, and I've been a member of the Salem Area Women's Club for a year now. The Women's Club got involved with this event today because Susan Moffon is a member of the Salem Historical Society, and we wanted to support this event to, number one, help enhance the images of the library and some of the history that it has in the town of Salem, and also because the Area Women's Club likes to support the Historical Society in various activities, including the Soul Stroll that we participated in October. The Salem Area Women's Club will be celebrating its 100th anniversary next year, and it is designed to support various activities within the Greater Salem area, which includes Derry, Hampstead, Pelham, Salem, and Hampton. And we do things like support anti-hunger drives. We support the local schools. I'm a member of the Education and Libraries Committee, which is another reason we wanted to get involved in this particular project, because it relates to the library. And we provide a lot of funding for different agencies within the community. So for example, we donate to End 68 Hours of Hunger. We donate to local schools and libraries, anti-hunger initiatives, and also just volunteer to help different agencies within the community. So for example, we have a singing group that visits local nursing homes and other facilities to sort of spread cheer. We have a program called Flower Hugs, which distributes small floral bouquets to hospitals and nursing homes and other areas where people might need a smile. So we like to support our local communities in a variety of ways. People who are interested in joining the Women's Club can find more information about us on Facebook and also on our website. Just Google Salem Area Women's Club, and you will be pointed to our different social media sites, and you can get more information.
The Historical Society is a group of volunteers. We are the group that's maintaining the records as well as possible what goes on in Salem and going back, getting records of what used to happen here in Salem. And we have quite an extensive collection of records and memorabilia. We have 4 buildings that we are caretakers of. They are all owned by the town of Salem. But the Historical Society are basically the caretakers of the 4 buildings. And we raise money ourselves to help maintain the buildings. In fact, the Historical Society has done some renovations to some of the buildings in town. The first one we did was the railroad station, the depot down at the Salem Depot, at the intersection of Route 28 and 97. We are also caretakers of the Hose House now, the Old Town Hall, the Alice Hall Library, and Schoolhouse number 5, which is across the street on School Street. Very apropos to be on School Street. We have a monthly meeting between April and November. Come to a meeting and you will see one of the Historical Society members, and they'll get you started if you want to become a member. Otherwise, we're open on Monday afternoon between 2 and 5 o'clock, except on a holiday.